I'm presenting with Christopher Ren, and we are going to be talking about, Chris called me up after one of the a chat or something that had happened, and he had an insight and talked about how, or I'll let Chris share the insight, but I'll share what I heard. And what I heard from Chris was really seeing where we can get ourselves stuck. And I thought that we would get started on that, because we were talking about writer's block, and Chris was saying like how our life is written. You know, people say our life is written, and then he saw that he had writer's block in his written life. So I thought that was a fascinating conversation. Thought that would be really nice to explore a little bit on here. So do you want to tell us more about that, Chris? Or do you want, before you do that, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here, and what you, anything really, anything you like?
I thought we was gonna give him the little bit of MamaJ, like get into the rhythm, get into the space.
Let's do that. All right, I like it. Let's have a little bit of getting into the space. I like that. Right then, so we'll she says that without the missing link's gone missing. I'll just grab the missing link.
But yeah, while she doesn't find the missing link, I come across this understanding in prison, HMP only, to be precise. Couple of years ago, and knowing that there's 3 principles are still there, but sometimes I can walk past it, forgetting that it's in part of me, but I still walk past it. Yeah, that's it's been fun when I catch myself, but when I don't catch myself, it's like, wow, I'm kind of on a roller coaster that I feel like I can't get out of, but I put myself in there. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna get back into that. Let's just get into that space. MamaJ, have you found it?
I haven't, but I found something else.
No problem.
All right then. So, you know, the thing is that I do the tech, and sometimes that means that I'm a little bit more distracted than if I was just sitting here showing up and doing my zenness. So apologies for that. So let us get grounded into the room. If it's comfortable to do so, put your feet on the floor and your hands in your lap, and lower your gaze or close your eyes. And take a nice deep breath in and out again. Let's bring ourselves to this room, this safe space. Let the day that's happened so far go. Leave everything we know at the door. Be open to hearing something different, something new. In this relaxed place, I'm going to read something to you from a book called Coming Home by Sue Pettit. When a wonder, something ageless, something timeless, something measureless fills me. When a wonder, I'm in my very ordinary life, I see. There's a meeting in that moment, past with present is imbued. It surrounds me and profounds me with a sense of gratitude. In that moment, I have a vision, far beyond what I can see, of my commonness with others. All the world is part of me. So let those words float along with us on this beautiful evening. take a loving deep breath in and let lots of love out.
That's it. That's it.
Now we can bring ourselves back to the room from this quiet space and explore the Chris. So yes, Chris, I loved that conversation that we had last week, I think it might have been.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. You coming off of your book, I believe your book launch.
Yes.
And Omar asked a question. How do we know we're like good with our writing? Like, how do you know? And the answer was just keep writing. And that literally pulled me back thinking, raw. So as long as I keep showing up, no matter how I'm feeling, I'm still giving my 100%. Instead of not turning up or not being present, then I'm defeating the whole purpose of my book being written. I can even add to it, because even though your book's been written, you can add to it. You don't have to be in that space. And my space was like, yeah, at the time, I just got over on top of thinking, where nothing has changed. Literally nothing has changed. The only thing that's come into the life is a brand new baby. Yes, but it's part of life. It's a part of nature. You know what I mean? My partner, the hormones and everything, that's part of giving birth. So getting caught up with that and thinking like, oh, I need to do much, or I'm not doing too much, and then I'm feeling embarrassed of letting down my team because I'm not giving my 100%. It's okay, because nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is everything around me. But as long as I'm present and I still participate and show up, yeah, by that, hopefully someone can pick up something from that, and I can help them along the way, or they can help me along my way, because they can see, actually, if you do this and do that, and okay, you're talking sense, that might help. And that's what Derek did. He gave me back that tough love. Sometimes you need it. You need that tough love. Just say it raw as it is. It's not a bad thing. It's just positive criticism, or a positive way of thinking, or it's another way of you to see something from another person's perspective. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that was interesting for me.
It was interesting for me, because what I really heard, and I heard it again when you were just talking, is that desire for perfectionism can stop us from doing anything. So we have this imagination that we want to turn up and be the most present, or contribute the most, or write and it be the best we've done, or do the perfect art, or on the YouTube channel, I want it to be the best video that I've uploaded. And then we stop ourselves we seek that perfectionism, but stop ourselves from doing anything. So then you can not upload the video, not write that piece, not paint that picture. And for you, it sounded like it was, and then just not show up. And I heard you say, I'd rather show up and be as present as I can than stop myself because I think I can't be as present as I should be.
Exactly that. So just someone pointing me back to myself, and knowing that it's okay. Stop overthinking, and yeah, you are perfect. So if you leave it as that you are perfect, the only result is gonna be good. You can't get a bad result. You're only gonna get a good result by just turning up, or just giving out your piece of work, or just writing, because you're writing from a genuine place. You're not writing from complicated thinking. You're just writing in that moment.
Yeah. And it's is it that, and then you see what, like there's a thing in video creation about being 1% better next time. So I really like that, because then you get to see, oh yeah, 1% is not that hard. Like 1% is what can I slightly tweak to be better next time? So we get to learn by showing up, don't we? You know, if we didn't show up or upload that video or write that poem, we wouldn't even start. Whereas by starting and by showing up, it means you've got something then to improve if you want to improve it, but you're doing the best you can in that moment.
And even if you do show up and you're going through what I was going through at the time, someone can make you laugh and just come out of that state of mind that you're feeling because you just showed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was interesting. It was interesting. It was interesting. But straight after that, I went to another online course, but it felt like I was literally seeing from outside perspective, and I put back in that old thinking instead of looking inside for outside answers. But I got caught up again, and I was looking outside for getting to get my answers. But then I realized that my feelings can be my eyes. Instead of letting my eyes guide me, let my feelings guide me.
Yeah, because your eyes are seeing what your feelings are telling you. Anyway, so letting your eyes guide you doesn't help, does it?
Nah, because it might not be the same thing that you're feeling about. You know what I mean? Because it could be deceiving. So literally, if you let your feelings guide you, then it will never let you down.
Yeah, interesting. And I've noticed since we talked about that you are showing up. Like you had that problem on the Zoom where you couldn't get into the course that you were meant to, and you tried to solve that and you couldn't solve it, so you went on to another course. You didn't just go, oh, that's it, and throw your dummy out the pram and say, oh, that's it, I'm not doing any courses then. You went, oh, actually I can attend that instead, and who knows, that might have been the perfect thing for you to attend anyway.
Got insight from that.
And you got insight. Yeah. Tell us about that.
I just told you about basically leading with your eyes instead of leading with your feelings. Because it was Aaron Turner was talking, and I just grabbed something like that, thinking, like, all right, and that's what I've been doing. Is like I said, nothing has changed apart from a baby's come to the world. My woman's going through what she's going through as a normal cycle. Literally, instead of me delving in deep about it and getting caught up, no, just leave it as that. It's gonna, you know what I mean? And as long as I turn up and do what I need to do as a man, partner, a dad, everything should be cool. Everything should be like moving one day at a time, so I can be the best version of myself for my partner and for my little one.
Yeah. Nice. Can anyone else resonate with that? Chris, I think. The other Chris. Or maybe not. Chris looked like she was going. Go on, Wilson.
I really relate to that because growing up, I always focused on pleasing somebody or something, or pleasing my parents, or pleasing the boys I chilled with, or pleasing the older lot, or do you know what I mean? I always focused on what could I do to help them, led by my intellect. But I feel like when I do that led by feeling now, it's much more powerful for me and for the other person, because one, I agree on focusing on yourself is a better you for everybody else. And if you're not a better you, then you can't be a better you for anybody else. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you're broken, you're not broken. I use the word broken, but I don't mean broken as in can't be fixed. I mean, if something's broke, then Yeah, no, I don't want to use that word. Sorry, I don't like that word broken because I don't think anything's broken. And I learned about kintsugi, so I'm like, rah, there's no such thing as broken. And kintsugi is the Japanese people, anything that breaks, they put it together with this like gold glue type of thing. And they say that it always has a story other than just to just be thrown away. It always have a story. So yeah, I just got all of that from when Chris was speaking and MamaJ.
Nice. Nice. So what's it like then, Chris, being a parent and having this, does it help having this understanding, being a new parent, being a new father?
Yeah, it does.
How does it help?
Grounding. It does help me by grounding. Like I said, even though I got into my head, I didn't affect me because I know how far I have come. And yeah, it just keeps me more grounded and just know how to be patient and have fun with it. It is fun. But the first, like I said, with what we were talking before, the first couple of weeks, it was all right. He wasn't crying. He was crying when he was meant to cry. Nah, he just wants attention all the time. So, you know, but you get that. So just learning with it. But apart from that, it's a miracle. It's a pleasure. It's an honor, and I'm grateful. And once he gets he is actually learning because I speak to him. I don't try and speak to him like a baby, innit? Like Google Gaga. I try and speak to him, so he's learning. And there's been a few times when he's been listening to the 3PGs, so getting spreaded around somewhere. Comes on Saturdays a couple of times. He's on my arms while he's listening. So yeah, he's in there. He's already in there, isn't he?
Love that. Yeah, that's really cool. I really one of the things about your insight about showing up is I think that's the biggest thing that stops all of us from doing anything. So when I'll get a thing about going, oh, I've got to go, I want to go somewhere. Do I know enough? Have I got enough information? Am I trained enough? And when you start going down that route of am I enough, you never are. You're never enough because you're judging yourself by your own standards and you never think you're enough. And the other thing that I heard from you with that was that you can't get there from there. You've got to start. You've got to go, well, this is what I've got right now. So I'll bring that to the table.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it as long as you turn up and you give yourself that little bit. There's nothing wrong with it. And I thought there was something wrong with it, so I got shy and got camera shy again, and I didn't want to show up. I didn't want to be seen, but it's okay, innit? It's okay. It's like a facade. Literally just, but it's not nice because it is real. When you're feeling and when you're thinking is, it gets there. It's a bit hard without this understanding. But once you have got this understanding, it's always good to always get pointed back to the right direction. So it's you just turning up once again, like, and not being a full 100, you can always hear something that will point you back into yourself and point you back in the right direction. Because like I almost said, we're not broken. So, we're not broken. Sometimes we just need a little bit of time, a little bit of TLC, or sometimes you just need to hear it like raw and rugged.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got Chris, everybody. Oh, go on, Pete.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what you just said, MamaJ, and what Chris is saying. Yeah, because I've been so judgmental on myself the last few weeks. So down, I can't do this, I'm not good enough. I'm just not seeing it for myself, that I'm not there. But yeah, it is just turning up in that moment and just see what happens. If you're speaking from the heart, then that's all that matters. You can't really go wrong with that, can you? So yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Well, can we use your poetry as an example?
Yeah, go for it.
Just that I can remember when you started writing and the judgments that you had on yourself, and you know, perhaps you haven't got the English grammar qualifications, etc., etc. And then, but you've just been pouring out this writing and pouring it out and pouring it out. And then you've made friends with Joe Bailey. And then Michael started emailing you and saying how impactful your writing is. And then that's encouraged you. And then now one of your poems is going into Joe Bailey's book, next book. There's an example, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right, because I don't know how many months ago it was, but I kept saying to you, I'm no writer, you know, I can't do that. I was literally just writing stuff down, whatever came to mind, not knowing it was going to be impactful and be in a book.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to that being self-judgmental the whole time, not being good enough at something and stuff like that. So, but yeah, now, just a bit like what you're saying, Chris, just showing up and, it is just speaking from the heart. But it's the same with writing. Just write what comes from the heart. That's it.
Yeah. But you see, another thing is like, I get caught up with my thinking, like my own. It's only me that stops me from actually opening that door again, innit? Because it's like I put a thought to it instead of just doing it. I put a thought to it, or I put a feeling to it, and then I add it up with something to think about. Oh, should I do it? Instead of just keeping it simple, just do it. Just do and be.
100%, bro. 100%. I still do that now. I get caught up in my head like, nobody's going to like it. Nobody's going to like me. It doesn't really matter. Well, it goes back to what Wilson used to say. Don't care. Not in a nasty way, but I'm just showing up. So I don't care if anyone gets anything out of it. I'm just showing up to show what I've seen. That's it. And if it can click with somebody, like my writing has in Canada, and it's actually helped somebody, then wow, amazing. Brilliant. But yeah.
Isn't it interesting that not caring actually makes you more caring? Isn't it? It's like,
because that's genuine. It's genuine caring, isn't it? It's actually genuine. Instead of you forcing to care or you meant to care, it's actually a genuine care. It's like genuine love. It's genuine. You know what I mean? Instead of you putting thoughts to it, it's genuine. It's genuine care.
Yeah, because when you care what other people think, that's what you're doing most of the time, isn't it? Or anyway, that's what I do. It's like when I care what other people think, or when I sort of want somebody to get something, or there's so much of me involved in that, and then the less of me involved in anything, like in the old days people used to say the less of you in the room the better. But what I really see now is that it's that not caring. It's how am I being perceived? How am I doing? What are they getting? Etc. etc. That makes it all about me. But the less of that attachment I have to caring what is being perceived and what impact is and what this and what that, actually the more real I can be, and the nearer my true self I can be. And that has way more impact. So it's the opposite way around than how we would think. Do you get me?
Mm-hmm. Because you're moving with your inside feelings instead of you following with your eyes, you're following with your feelings.
Go on, Alfie. That's what I got
from what you said.
What I got when you were talking, Christopher, was seeing how, I might so often stop myself because of something not being perfect. And what I saw was how my thinking mind's kind of idea of perfect is so trivial compared to the potential perfection that we could achieve just by stepping forward in our blundering into the unknown. And where we could get to by doing that is probably way more perfect than any perfection that we, think of from our limited sort of thinking. Yeah.
You see what I got from what you were saying there is always look on the bright side of the life. Hey, always look on the bright side of the life. That's what I got from.
Oh, that's cool. The other thing I just wanted to quickly say, because I've never had a chance to speak to you, but you and me ended up in the 3BGC conference, you know, the funny little breakout chat rooms, and we ended up in a room together on our own. I don't know if you remember that, just for a short bit. And we started chatting together, and you asked me something about myself, and I started kind of defining myself by this kind of limited label of a condition that I had. And then you stopped me and said, hang on, I've never heard of that word or what that is. What is that? And it stopped me in my tracks, Christopher, because it was like, in that moment, I 100% knew that there's no way you could be judging me as that label because you didn't know the label. And there was just this like gap in me, like this pause of suddenly a momentary freedom from this story I had about being seen or fearing being seen as that label. So, I'm getting all kind of shaky saying that. But anyway, I really wanted to kind of thank you for that. And I've never had the chance because it just made such an impact for me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm glad I could be of service and help. Thank you.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And it so ties in with what you were saying, Chris, because the innocence, first of all, the innocence of not knowing what that label was and having the honesty to just say, I don't know what that is. Can you tell me what that is? Then had that impact, that sort of forced gap in Alfie's mind where she's suddenly going, oh yeah, like if he doesn't know what that is, he can't judge me on it. That is so cool.
I'm at home, sorry. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yes, I was just saying that's cool because you showing up as you with honesty and integrity and being able to say, I don't know what that is, had more impact than you pretending to know what it was and leaving Alfie feeling, you know, like, you know, when someone isn't quite there, and sometimes it's like you're not quite there because you don't really know what that is, so you're thinking about that. I dated somebody who kept looking at me really strange, like I'd say something and he'd just like go blank and as if he wasn't listening to me, and I assumed that he wasn't listening to me. So we had lots of discussions because I used to be quite fiery, lots of discussions around the fact that, you know, he wasn't listening. And then one day I realized he just didn't understand some of the words that I used. He didn't have that level of education, and I would be just using the words that I use, and he didn't know what they meant, and he didn't want to say, I don't know what that means. So he would go blank processing, trying to figure out what it meant, which looked like blank not interested to me. Whereas if he'd have just said, I don't know what that is, what do you mean? That would have saved a lot of problems. And so I love that, turning up and being able to say, what does that mean? There's such freedom for everybody in that humble question.
Because it came from an innocent place, like I was genuinely asking and I was interested. So me turning up and listening, and I heard something that I was not aware of or I've never heard. So it was interesting, that curiosity once again. And it plays a part in my life a lot, curiosity. And every time I followed it, hasn't let me down yet.
Really
I've got a
cool.
question.
Yeah.
So there's one thing I just wanted you to talk about, because you showed me this, and I'm not sure what feeling I went through at that time being, but it was like me and Chris was literally just walking down the road, and I'm not sure if we was talking or not, but I don't think we was. And to the right of us, there was a guy, and he was just shouting, kind of singing, dancing, doing his own thing, but very loud. And a lot of people are looking at him and turning up their noses at him. And I looked at him, Chris looked at him, then Chris looked at me, and he said, that's his truth. And that sat with me ever since, because it's like, I've always looked at something as that's not normal, or that's normal, or that. And then I realized there's no such thing as normal apart from Omar Wilson's normal, or your own individual normal, if that makes sense. So when Chris said it's his truth, it brought me into this realm of like, wow, like it's his truth and it makes sense to him. And it's not even for me to break it down and make sense of it, because that is his truth. And I feel like the word truth in that sentence, just that sentence meant, don't dig into this because it's not yours, it's his truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted you to like tell them that story, because that was amazing for me. I don't know, that rang a lot for me.
It was a time when I think we came off of one of the conferences. I think it was Joe Bailey's one, and it was talking about a lot of separate realities, and people still. I used to, even before I used to listen, when I'm talking to someone, try and finish their sentence and try and think for them. So it came into that part of like not understanding separate realities until I got this understanding. And the more and more we done, it was to do with addiction as well. Like everyone's got their truth, everyone's got their path. They got a like they live. No, you ain't gotta jump in there for them or try and take them away from what makes them happy, apart from just letting them be. And if they take their time out and try and bring you into their truth, then yeah, like open up, this is what I'm into. Ask, but to judge, because I used to do that a lot, and that comes into judgment, but that's their truth. Like you can't really judge from that space there. Judgment falls pretty much, it falls off. You just leave them to him.
Yeah, nice. And I see more and more that judgment is really more about us judging ourselves than anything else. When we're judging, it's actually because we've got judgment against ourselves in some way. Like I've seen before, that behavior that I judge or get irritated by is something that I actually feel irritated by if I do it. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing the mirror and not liking the mirror rather than the person, if that makes sense.
You see, from when you just said that, I've noticed that, like in the past, every time I used to tell someone something, it was always something that I would want to do or I need to fix, but I kept on giving them that advice. But it's really I need to do that advice. Yeah. So I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when you look back on it, you think like, right, hold on a second, like, yeah, but they're not you. So why are you telling them something that you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And people know that as well, because they'll often say, oh, I'm good at giving advice, but not good at taking my own advice. So they know at some level that really they're trying to tell themselves, but they keep telling everybody else.
You know what it is? You see the person that gives the good advice, he hasn't learned how to listen. That's why he keeps on giving out advices, because he hasn't really listened. When someone puts back an advice to him, he's quick to dismantle it and like, no, and give you an advice instead of actually listening. That person who keeps on giving advice, he doesn't like listening. or he hasn't listened yet.
Mm. So Anne-Marie's brought up something in the chat, Chris, which you might not be able to see because you're on your phone. So shall I read it out, Anne-Marie? Is that all right? Saying that she'd been having a lot of self-doubt and self-judgment, thinking, I'm not eloquent, I can't speak as well as other people, I can't write as well as other people. And then she got some unsolicited feedback on her YouTube series about how much they're really enjoying it, which Anne-Marie said shows me what your thoughts tell you when it comes to self-doubt isn't the truth.
Anne-Marie, all I've got to say, we woke up like this. Yeah, we woke up like this. And so you love us or hate us, we woke up like this. So don't need to get into our little soul space. You know what I mean? Like we're beautiful. Like we're shining, baby. We're shining. So keep shining because you're worth it. We're all worth it. The self-doubters, the haters, you push that aside. They're only hating because they love you, but they don't want to tell you that they love you. But they hate you, so they just give you the more hate, the more love. That's the way I see it. And like I said, I got that writer's block because you asked me to come, and I was ashamed. I couldn't be seen, but I need to show my love to the whole world. They just need to show my love. So yeah, let's keep shining, Anne-Marie. Let's keep shining, girl. We woke up like this.
I woke up like this. Hey.
I woke up like this.
Come on.
Go on, Wendy. We're having too much fun.
Yeah, it's coming and going. So like what Anne-Marie said, and I think Alfie said, like just take inadequate. You're not inadequate. You're just having thoughts about inadequacy. They're just thoughts. But, so for me, how I used to be, and it doesn't come back much now, I'm not shy. I'm just having thoughts about being shy. And this came to me a few days ago. It was something Aaron Turner was in a session coaching somebody. And so now when I was listening to him, I was on mute because I started laughing, which I do when I kind of have an insight. And it made me realize I can be perfectly comfortable. We can be perfectly comfortable sitting here and talking to the Queen, talking to the homeless person, because we're all the same. And I got this, it's not about words. It's about this amazing feeling. And I was, even when Aaron had stopped and gone on to another topic, and even a couple of hours late when it was over, I kept laughing. I was watching because I realized that it was just a beautiful feeling that you can just be in a room with absolutely anybody, and it's just those little words that come in. I'm not good enough. You are good enough. You're just having thoughts at that moment that you're not good enough. So bring it back to who you are. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's how I felt at the end of the last VIP. That exact feeling right there.
We all know it's all in the feeling, and when you get it, it's lovely. It's really nice. It's toasty.
Toasty.
I like that one. That's what I'm saying. I like that. Toasty. All right.
So when you're off, get back to feeling toasty.
Say no more. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, Wendy. I love that. Toasty.
It comes back to as well, doesn't it? Is that we judge ourselves way more than anyone else judges us, and that's that is just what we do. It's just all part of it. And I think that I've learned a little bit to say, oh well, oh well, I think I'm crap, or oh well, I think this, or oh well, I think that, so what? So what? I feel like that at the moment. It's just a passing thing. It just brings me down in that moment. But actually, it's not the truth. It's not facts. Wilson, you got your hand up?
It just come to me now, right? That when you're truly present, judgment truly jumps out the window. and you follow feeling, right? The reason I say this, right, is because it's evident in the situation that I was in with Chris, that is what happened. He was truly present, which allowed his judgments to go, and he followed the feeling. And I'm talking about Mad Wednesday, or was it a Thursday?
Mad Wednesday.
So I'm talking about Mad Wednesday because I see that, and it just come to me now, I see that in that particular moment, you were so present that judgments fell out the window and they didn't even exist to you, and you followed your feeling, which allowed you to do what you done. Explain,
but I could have. It's once again, it goes back to not letting our eyes lead. Literally, not leading our eyes lead, because everything else is made up. Everything what we see is literally made up. The fears that we have is the fears that we kept on seeing and we're hearing, and we just are dwelling in a bit more. But once you strip that and being present and actually present, and you're not seeing from that eye no more, innit? You're not gonna see a color. You're not gonna see a way. You're not gonna see nothing. You're just gonna see that person for who they are, and at that particular time, what service you can give to them. Like that there was a lot going on. I never knew you was a doctor. Like, you know what I mean? From doing first aid, but you jumped in there. But that's the first thing that's what it led you to do, because you was present. You wasn't in your thinking. Most of us, I had spent a lot of my time in pre-mental thinking or pre-judgment thinking instead of being present of being now, you know what I mean? So yeah, like a lot of us lead with our eyes instead of just being and just being present and not getting caught up with the outside world and letting it suck us into what's happening now. No, because you're not feeling like that right now. What you're seeing on the TV, you're not feeling like that. And then society, and then it don't help, because when there's something wrong, TV tells you gotta have a drink about it or have a smoke about it. Not really. You just chill for that second. It's gonna pass by. You know what I mean? But it does take. It's not meditation, but it does take a little bit of just humble, and it will get better. Things will get better. You know what I mean? Things will get better, and they are. So as long as you've got that in your head, like they are going to get better and you are good, you're not broken again and there's nothing wrong with you, then yeah. Stop leading with our eyes and lead with our feelings. Lead with your heart. Your heart will never lead you astray. You know what I mean? Never leave you astray.
Hey, do you know what I just got from that? So like, I'm scared of spiders, right? I am, innit? I don't know why, but I just am, right? I'm trying to get over that one there, but it's sticking with me, right? But the craziest thing now that I'm trying to sit in here and think, because I've listened to exactly what Chris has said, and I'm thinking, if I was in a room and there's a massive spider on the wall, but I can't see it, I'm not even going to be scared. If that makes sense. There's going to be a spider in the room, but I'm not going to be scared. Even if I don't see it, I'm not going to be scared. But as soon as I see it and start processing that, it's only the thoughts alone that is going to make me move. And I'm trying to experiment with that, but it's only right, if that makes sense. There's no other way I could be. So I'm trying to picture in the opposite way now. Even if I was blindfolded and there was no spider in the room and someone told me there was 10, the fear would kick in.
Yeah.
The fear would automatically kick in and I'll be trembling and everyone will be laughing at me because there'll be nothing in the room, but I'll be scared because my thoughts would have taken me there.
Yeah.
Without moving, without knowing anything, just my thoughts alone will take me there. My guy, the doctor. Jeez.
That happened to me, Chris, as well, and Wilson, when I was sitting on a park bench, and I used to live in an area where the rats would run past, and I would like jump and like, squeal out of the way of the rat. And then I was sitting on a park bench a few years ago, and a rat came. and sort of, you know, looked in the grass, and I was by a lake, so the rat was looking in the grass and just doing his rat thing. And I was really like in a mellow mood, and I looked at the rat and wasn't scared at all. And I sort of thought of the rat and thought, oh, he's just doing a rat thing, you know, like he doesn't even care that I'm sitting there. He's just doing his rat thing. He's just going about in his little rat world. And I was so shocked that I wasn't scared. And it was almost like I didn't have time to remind myself that I was scared before I'd had that thought of, oh, he's just being a rat. And then that just cured it, because once I thought, he's just a rat doing his rat thing, how could you be scared of that? And then we moved here, and we don't see rats, but we see lots of mice. And there's just, and often I have to rescue the mice from the cat, because the cat wants to eat the mice and the voles and the shrews. And like, I would never have done that before, because I'd be too scared to get the little creature. But now I've gone outside and picked up a rabbit and moved a rabbit out of the way so that the cat didn't get it, and things like that. And it was that gap that sort of let that in. But before that, I had like this conditioned response to being afraid. It's a little bit like, and I don't mean this in an offensive way, but it just occurred to me, it's no different from me standing in prison and that time when I was scared of that man that came to the door, and then realizing how much judgment I had. It's a little bit like that, you know, like I didn't even know I had judgment. It was invisible. And yet I was scared, and I thought bad things. This man, oh, what does he mean? What's he going to do? Or I'm too scared not to let him into the room. And then he turned out to be this gentle giant looking for the chicks on the windowsill, and the pigeon, the dove nests on the windowsill. And I saw, wow, there's so much invisible judgment that you're not even aware of, that you're swimming around in.
You must have stripped up a lot, though. For you even walked into the prison, you must have not had none. Or if you did, you didn't show it. You know
well,
what I mean?
I think that's I think it's to your point, is that I didn't think that I had, but I did have some fears, and I did have some anxiety, but I showed up anyway because I had a passion. And I had a passion for delivering this, and for, you know, I thought it would be useful to people. So I had this passion. So I showed up anyway. And because I showed up anyway, I then got the mirror pointed back to me to see that I had all this invisible judgment. And, you know, like that man saved me because he helped me see that, and that let that go away. I wasn't even aware of it. But it was I've told you, like the first day I was in there, I ran to the gate when I was leaving. I ran, and then I thought, what am I going to do? I'm going to work here. What am I running from? You know, and there was this conditioned response to what's it like to be in a prison. Now, on the individual level, I didn't feel like that. And I've faced up to a lot of challenging people, and not been afraid. I remember when, I don't know if you were there, Chris, but there was that Rastafarian guy who really long dreads, and he was supposed to be schizophrenic, and he sat at the back of the room, and then he got really agitated.
Was he in the same group as Micey?
Oh, I can't remember.
If you're talking about, because there was a couple of groups with Micey when there was a Rasta man. I don't know if it's the same one though, but there was a group with Micey.
And he and this goes to Alfie's point actually, because he got really, really agitated, and then when he got agitated, he kicked off, and he was like, I want to go back, take me back, and everything. And there's like different rules, and we couldn't take him back at that moment, so we stood outside. And I wasn't scared. I just stood with him and just listened to him. And I said, you know, how can I help? would help? I can't take you back. That's not on the table. What would help? And he said, oh, I'd just sit at the back of the room and listen. I thought, oh, yeah, good. That's a good one. Yeah. So I said, yeah. So he asked me afterwards, can I have a one-to-one? And he used to work, there used to be some gardens, and he used to work in the market gardens. And I went and had a one-to-one, and we sat on this little bench and we're talking away. And there was a duck that had laid its eggs in the gardens, and he was telling me how the duck, the mother duck, knew when to lead her chicks out of the gardens when it wasn't free flow, when all 750 men were moving around the grounds. So he was telling me, like, the mother duck, she moves around and she knows exactly what to do and so on. So we got to talking about nature and how nature knows, and if we were all more like a mother duck and this type of thing. And he looked at me and he went, you're actually a bit mad, aren't you? And I said, yeah, I am. And he said, I really like that. So it's the thing is that, you know, we might be a bit mad or a bit weird or a bit something, but so what? You know, if we're real and we're true in the moment, in the present moment, that could work, you know, because I wasn't trying to be all professional with him. And I asked him about schizophrenia, like, what's it like for you? What happens in your head? I really, really was interested. And then somehow that led to this conversation about the ducks and things. And so what? You know, like he thought he really liked me after that. He asked for loads of one-to-ones because I could meet him at his level. In fact, he thought I was madder than him, is what he said. He's probably right. So how are people doing? Has anyone got any questions or any thoughts for Chris? Is there anything that's resonated with you that you'd like to share?
Not all at once now.
Chris, oh, yeah, well, I've just got an observation or a question. Don't we need to have a certain amount of fear to keep us safe, though? You're muted, Chris.
I actually thought that, but this, like, my mum still lives in the hood. She still lives in the hood. So that level of like thinking or that fear factor, I don't get it no more like that. I more get the fear factor, and I know when I've done something to my girlfriend, and she's like, I'm more scared of my girlfriend than my mum right now. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, seriously, I'm not big man thing. I'm more scared of my mum and my partner at the moment, because yeah, my level of thinking has changed. So I only was afraid when I was in them situations to protect me. So now I don't longer have to be afraid of being in them positions, because I'm not in them positions. Now I'm more, protective of my family. And so I don't, that fear, I don't have that no more. I have more fear of my girlfriend than my mum.
I can answer that as well. Because a lot of prison officers say that helps them. And I would say it's the opposite. Because if you walk around with a feeling of fear, you're always on that hyper-vigilant, hyper-alert state where you're actually seeing things that aren't necessarily there and responding to that. Whereas if you walk around with a clear head, you're much more likely to react if you need to. And much more likely to bring the resources that you need in that moment, which could be a conversation, it could be some you need to get someone on the ground, it could be you need to hug someone, it could be you need to run away, it could be all sorts of things. But having a clearer mind actually serves you better than any level of fear. I would say it's a bit like that time in London that I told the boys about, when I got my phone out. I was in an area that I didn't know. I was heading off to Brick Lane, and I became aware that there was 3 men hanging around on the corner, and I became aware that one of them was following me. And because I didn't walk around with fear, you know, I just hadn't really even thought about it. And he started following me, and I had the thought, put your phone away, get to the main road. And so, because I was faffing about with my phone, trying to get directions. And that's what I did. I just put my phone away, walked to the main road, and he took a swerve and swerved off. And what I really saw from that was I got the wisdom that I needed in the moment. But then I didn't have to walk around going, oh, I better not, you know, I mean, it's common sense not to walk around the streets with your phone out in the dark alleys. But, you know, I didn't have to walk around being afraid of people standing on street corners. I just knew to listen to the wisdom that came in the moment. Would you say that that was a true helpful? Sorry, Chris. Would you say that that was true?
Yeah, that's true and helpful. That's true and helpful. A clearer mind is a clearer you. As if you're like not present in your head, you're not present, are you? So yeah, it comes again where what happened on that Mad Wednesday. If I didn't have a clear mind or I didn't have a clear thought, I wouldn't have thought he needed that at the time. I just So yeah, clear mind definitely works.
Nice.
Anyone else?
Same like Kung Fu, innit?
Yes. Kate.
I really love this conversation, and it brought a couple of things to mind about kind of how we stop ourselves, and I saw Alfie's comment as well about kind of stopping out of fear. I think of like made me think of like stopping out of fear of what other people think, and I do it in group situations. So even like this one, sometimes I don't quite share when I've got something in mind because it's not quite perfected. And then I lose the moment or something. Then afterwards I think, oh, I wish I'd shared that. And I was thinking of like back at school, in like primary school, there was no sort of caring about anything like that. And then I can remember these certain points still really clearly in my mind from secondary school. Like if I was in a classroom and the teacher would ask a question, and if I knew the answer, like I used to get really like clammy and nervous because I was afraid to shout it out in front of everybody. And I don't know why. I was just afraid, and I'd go like really red, and I'd just be really embarrassed, or I don't know what I was thinking they would think of me for saying the answer, if they'd think, you know, she's a know-it-all or something. But then if I didn't know the answer, I would be equally sort of not paralyzed but panicky, I suppose, in case I got asked the question and I didn't know what the answer was, because again, it was like a no-win situation. Like if I knew I didn't want to say, and if I didn't know, I'd be terrified of getting asked because I wouldn't know the answer. I don't know, I had this massive like fear of what people would kind of think of me, I think. And I can almost sort of pinpoint different situations where I've kind of felt like that all the way up from school, and then going into work situations, it was kind of the same. And I think it's just coming to this understanding now where I'm starting to realise it doesn't really matter if you say something that's not quite right. It doesn't really matter, it's because I've never noticed that in someone else and thought, God, like, what an absolute idiot. I cannot believe they've said that. And if I do, that's my stuff, isn't it? You know, that's my stuff. That's not anything to do with them. But yeah,
Love
it's
that.
funny, isn't it? What we hold ourselves back from, and then maybe even berate ourselves afterwards for not sharing what it is.
I love that. Can I jump in there, Chris? It just occurred to me that a lot of us have a moment in childhood that we can pin some stuff back to, that change, that moment. And it just occurred to me that we're resting a whole life on a moment when we were probably at the cusp of, you know, growing up, or and we've got hormones and we've got stuff going on, and like a thing happens, and that then informs the rest of our life, and we forget to like, oh, we can let that go now because that was just a moment when we were, you know, because you're all awkward and gangly, aren't you? Because 1 minute you're a cute little nursery school child, just don't care, just dance, sing, do whatever you like, and then all of a sudden you have to conform, and you're not conforming in some way, and you're all gangly a little bit and trying to find your own skin, and we're judging ourselves now based on that moment 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Isn't that funny? I just realized that. The same for me too.
We stop having fun, MamaJ.
That's
I think
true.
we just
as
stop
well.
having fun. We just
That
stop
is
having
so
fun.
true. And experimenting and just trying it and just seeing, oh, let me see can I work this out if I say this, or what happens if I try that? And yeah, very true. So the lesson from tonight is have more fun. Anyone else? Alfie says, it's the same odd fear. We are just as scared of shining and seeming perfect as we are of not being perfect.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Yeah.
Can I share one more quick thing?
Yes.
That what Elfie's put is that I used to go to this it's like a drama singing dance like stagecoach thing when I was about, I don't know, about maybe 12, 11 or 12, and our singing teacher said in front of the whole class, oh, there's one person that, you know, when she sings, she has this really beautiful expression, like she's really kind of enjoying it, and he pointed out that it was me. And once he'd done that, I started to pull faces when I sat, like, just, I was so aware, I just, you know, I couldn't be like that anymore. And then he said, I overheard him say a little while later, oh, Kate, the one that pulls those funny faces, like that. And I just, so weird, isn't it? It's like, because he said how good I was, or something positive, I couldn't do it anymore, because I thought people are going to think that I'm, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I really relate to that, just being afraid to shine. Yeah, really resonates with me.
And that goes back again to that, to be on, I mean, you know, it's natural, it's human to be self-conscious. It's, you know, that we just do that. But to be unself-conscious isn't to just brazen it out in what I see anyway, is because I couldn't do this, like, because I was so self-conscious. Who am I to start a show and turn up every week? And what about if I run out of things to say? And what about if people don't like the way I speak? And that. And I just realized that I'm only self-conscious when I'm thinking about myself. When I'm thinking about other people, when I'm more concerned with listening or serving or just being quiet or whatever, I'm not actually self-conscious. I might sometimes say something that afterwards I think, oh, wish I hadn't said that. But in the main, I don't. In the main, I think even that, I think, oh, okay, well, it was the best I could do in the moment. But if I started to really think about how I was doing, I would really judge myself. I would be really like, oh, you know, oh, wasn't I rubbish not remembering to read at the beginning? And oh, I haven't got the Facebook stream, the Facebook live thing, that's not working. And, you know, how unprofessional am I? And I could right now point out, you know, half a dozen things that I've done wrong or that I regret, but I don't I don't see the point in that, because my intention isn't to be perfect. My intention is to serve and to create a safe space and to have people feel that they can all share. And pretty much that seems like what's happening. So I do my best at that. But if I started to like analyze how it went, I know that I could find lots of things that went wrong. So we're funny creatures, aren't we?
Because we only have ourselves to like really blame at the end of it, innit?
Yeah.
Like we're the only ones stopping ourselves from achieving or actually seeing what's gonna happen. What's the worst that can happen? Like just see what's gonna happen. And that it goes back to having fun. Because when we was kids, we just done it. We just done it completely without no fear and thought about the consequences probably afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, and you probably got a bruise on your knee and your mum trying to fix it, but you still want to go back out and try it again because it was so much fun. You know what I mean? So we're the ones that fucking our stuff. So yeah. Stop getting in our own way. We're literally stop getting in our own way and let's be. You know what I mean? Your shadow's there to guide you.
It's true, you know. I went over the handlebars of my bike and knocked one of my front teeth out. It didn't stop me getting on the bike. In fact, my mum smacked me for being so clumsy. So I fell over the bike and got my teeth knocked out, and I got a slap from my mum. It didn't put me off going out on my bike. Wendy.
Oh yeah, it came to me. Don't be afraid to show up as yourself, to make mistakes, to not know the answers, because trying to be anything else is a lot of hard work. Mm-hmm. That just came to me. It is, and we all do it, and we do it. You know, it just happens, doesn't it? When we're not.
Wendy, it's tiring, isn't it?
It is. It is. I do it. Don't we all do it?
Yeah, it's tiring.
And you know what? We may never lose that habit, but you know, we just try to be something, and it's so much hard work. But if you just walk into that room and sit next to the Queen of England, have a good old chin wag, get toasty, you know, that is what we should be doing. You've got to get her on here. You've got to get her on here.
Queenie, you've got to get Queenie on here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Let's put that intention out into the world. Come on, Queenie. Come on, wisdom entrepreneurs.
Come on. MamaJ and the gang. Why not? Why not? Why not? Hey, why not?
Yeah, get toast is my favourite new expression. I
like that. That's what I'm taking that.
Toasty.
Get toasty. Hey, come on.
This has been really, really cool, Chris.
Come on. Thank you for having me. It was nice being seen. Hey, come on. We woke up like this.
You're looking fresh as well, bro. You're looking fresh.
You are looking fresh.
I need a little barley cut. Come on.
No,
don't we all?
I'm ready for you now, Annie. I'm ready for you, Anne. Let's do this.
Nice.
Yeah, Anne-Marie?
Yeah, she put a thumbs up.
Cool.
Yes, yeah. I'll be in touch.
Say no more. Ready for you.
Okay.
See, you got people lining up, Anne-Marie.
Yeah, Chris, it's been a great space, mate. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming into my space, and thank you for allowing me to share. Thank you.